right. Let's see if anyone is here. This looks a bit broken. But now it works. Okay. Gonna wait a couple of minutes. And I'm gonna hook up the camera to a power source. So it will get a little bit jumpy right now. Probably. I think this is better. Because now we have power. At least somewhat. Okay, let's see if anyone is in the stream. Not yet. People have better things to do. So I'm gonna do a bit more setup. Because we will need a bit of hardware. I'm gonna put this here. And I'm gonna take this. Where is my... here we are. Great. Here we go. We need a little window to do something. That's great. I'm gonna post the link so maybe someone will join, and I'm gonna fetch a drink. All right, where is my stream? Here. Okay, still gonna wait 2 more minutes. Be right back. So I'm gonna put the price here, ZooKeeper. Even if no one's watching, people can watch it afterwards. That's fine. I'm gonna open up this drink here, which is the Mönchshof Naturradler, which is an alcohol-free beverage, beer, whatever, mixed drink with lemonade. And for anyone who doesn't know what this is all about today, I did a review of a couple of homebrew Atari 2600 games a couple of weeks back. Homebrew games, which were made in the last 2 to 4 years or something. A couple of those even from this year. And when I bought these games at the Atari Edge store, which I can definitely recommend, they had a sale like a year ago or something like that, because they were bought by Atari or whoever currently owns Atari. I think the new Atari owners are pretty decent. They make, from what I hear, good products, and they are making new releases, new games themselves, mostly re-releases of old titles, because they also brought out 2 consoles, the 2600 Plus and the 7800 Plus, which are remakes of the original Atari consoles, which is pretty nice. So they said when we buy Atari Age, we can only sell stuff that is not infringing on any IP or is completely new stuff that they can sell, or that is Atari property. And the games by Champ Games, for example, he does absolutely fantastic arcade conversions from more or less famous or not so famous arcade games, and ZooKeeper is one of them. And I think John Champeau doesn't have the rights necessarily. For some games he changes the name, etc. But for Atari that's way too tricky, I think. So John is now selling his own stuff, but there was this last chance sale on Atari Age where I bought 2 games from Champ Games. And one of those was not ZooKeeper, but I got ZooKeeper, and Al from the Atari Age store sent an apology and said, oh, sorry, he was doing so many packages, he must have gotten my stuff confused, so I can keep ZooKeeper, and he would ship me the other game as well, free of charge. So I got ZooKeeper for free. I already have 1 copy, so I said, I don't need it, I will give it away for free to my loyal viewers. And that's why we are here. And Robert is in the chat. Hi, Robert. So that's where we're at. And the thing is, I want to do a little special thing with the drawing, and we're going to let the PET over here, in this machine here, do the drawing, and the price drawing, and I put all contestants into a basic file, which you can see in the terminal window here. There's a little basic program called ZooKeeper, which we can have a look at, but it's tokenized, so it's not very readable. But we'll have a look at it on the PET itself. So there's like print tokens, etc., etc. All the question marks are basically prints. So that does work pretty well, but we have to get it over onto the PET. Well, we could make it easy and just copy it onto something like this, which is the SD to PET Future, which takes an SD card, and we would be fine. But I do have 2 8050 dual floppy drives where the drive unit 0 on both is a bit wonky, but drive unit 1 is good enough. And I do have this thing here, which is the Zoom floppy, which has an IEEE interface just like the PET and like the 8050. So we can attach this to the iMac, which I'm using to stream this whole mess. So that's what we're gonna do. We are gonna copy this over onto a real floppy disk. I'm gonna move myself a little bit. Oh no, not like that. Where do I move myself? I move myself up here. I think that's best, so you can see the floppy drive here in the lower left corner, because that's the one that we're going to use. And there were 4 contestants, so not many people wanted this game for free, and I do say it's a brilliant game. If you have an Atari 2600 or 2600 Plus, it will run on those, I think. I think even at least with modern with the most recent firmware, it should support Melody cartridges, because this is a Melody enhanced game. Melody is a standard of Atari cartridges, which has a little ARM processor for bank switching and sound support. It's similar to what people would have used in the 80s, like in Pitfall or Pitfall 2, where they had a little coprocessor on the cartridge itself to get the Atari 2600 to do more impressive stuff. It's an awesome game. I do fully recommend it. So we have 4 people who are eligible, and I'm gonna hook up the 8050 drive now, which works by using this massive connector, and I'm gonna connect it up here, and I'm gonna even use the screws so it doesn't float away just like that. And let's see where I can put it. I think I can put it over here. And I'm gonna turn on the socket and the drive. The drive is initializing. Self-test. Self-test is okay, it's green. And I'm gonna close drive unit 1 because 1 is the good unit. 0 doesn't really work most of the time. For basic program it will probably work. There's something happening in chat. This process is exactly how all raffle drawings should be conducted. Exactly. I can put the basic code obviously on GitHub or something, or Codeberg. CBM control dir 8. This will bump the heads and it will sound nasty. We can talk about the head bumping. It's typical for all things Commodore. Where's OBS? Here's OBS. Okay, yeah, that's still looking good. So we see there is nothing on there. The disk is called ZooKeeper. It has ID ZK, which you can put anything to, but it's for detecting disk swaps. And there's 2052 blocks free. That's I think 256 byte blocks. So basically this disk has 500 kilobytes of free space, which is a double density disk actually, but they call it a quad density disk. We should probably be using quad density disks. I do have 4 of those new old stock, but they don't work in this machine. And I have tried many different disks out. Basically you need high quality double density disks, and it will be formatted with 100 tracks per inch instead of the usual 48. So very weird format. It's not double, it's slightly more than double, which is why you can't read this in a normal PC drive, for example. You do need the original drives for the 8050. Very interesting, very cool machines. They have 2 6502 processors in there, so twice the power of the 1541, which only has 1 6502. I mean, heck, almost any other disk drive didn't have any processor inside. So the Commodore disk drives were always a special thing by having actually CPUs inside, and the same CPU and as powerful as the main machine. The PET has also 6502. So in theory, the disk drive is a dual core 6502, while the PET itself is only a single core. So in theory, it's more powerful. It does have less RAM, the 8050, but yeah, so be it. We will now use CBM copy, and we will write to this here, to drive number 8, something called ZooKeeper. We can also determine the output name, but we don't need that here, except maybe if we want to target drive 1. The problem is with CBM copy, it does support only single drive mechanisms, so it doesn't officially support the 8050, but it works because they talk the same protocol. So let's try this. It might bump the head again in drive 0 because it doesn't find a disk there, because I don't want it to run on drive 0. But I think it doesn't, because it already knew, the disk drive already knew there was no disk change, drive 0 is empty. And there you go, it wrote the thing. Let's see if we can do a directory without bumping the head. Does it work like this? I think we can do something like cbm control dir device 8 file spec 1 star, 1:*, that should only list everything on disk drive 1 without bumping the head on drive 0. There you go. And indeed, we wrote a 2-block sized file called ZooKeeper, which is a program. It's a basic program. And 2 blocks because, yeah, I think it was like 320 bytes or something. Let's have a look. 391, yeah, that's smaller than 512, so it takes up 2 blocks. And we still have 2050 blocks free. It's massive. It's really amazing. With one disk drive, you have like 1 megabyte of storage at any time. You can daisy chain those, so the 2 disk drives here are 2 megabytes. And if you flip the sides of the disks, because they are single-sided, you even have like 4 megabytes, which is amazing for 1983, or I think both drives were built in 1983, which was exactly the time when the C64 came out. So that's that. I'm gonna plug out the, pull out the Zoom floppy, and I'm gonna shut down the floppy once more, because when you pull the plug of the IEEE bus, I think you should power off everything. Otherwise it could be dangerous and maybe some device could get damaged. Yeah, there we go. And on the back of the PET, I do have a very similar connector, albeit I have a what do you call it? An adapter, because Commodore cheaped out, obviously. They built only a little edge connector, so I have a PCB with an edge connector and an IEEE connector, which looks again like so. It looks very similar to the PC parallel port, which was also an IEEE connector, but with more pins. This has fewer pins. And this is going back to the HPIB interface bus. Actually, this is called GPIB, which is the standardized version of the Hewlett-Packard interface bus. So you can also control all kinds of lab equipment with Commodore PETs, actually. You just have to, I mean, the electrical signals will work. The only thing is you need to know the protocol. The main protocol, like I want to talk to device number X, I think is always the same, but you need to speak the special protocol, for example, of the measurement equipment or something. But then you can definitely control all kinds, even modern lab equipment still often has the GPIB interface. So don't throw away your PET, you can still use it to control your lab equipment. So, I think we are ready to power on the PET, and let's move a little bit closer perhaps. And I'm gonna disable the terminal, because I think we don't need it anymore, if I remember which window this was. And I'm gonna move myself over to the left. And I'm going to turn on the PET, move the ZooKeeper package to the side so it doesn't fall down, and I'm going to turn on the disk drive again. Self-test is working. We are running Commodore Basic 4. We could also run an earlier version, version 2, and it's running with my upgrade of 32 kilobytes, because this is actually a 3016, so it originally only had 16 kilobytes. Okay, how do we load stuff on the PET? Since we do have Basic 4, it's actually a bit more comfortable. We can type things like directory, which was not possible in Basic version 2. And we can even say which drive unit we are selecting. We're selecting drive unit 1, so it doesn't bump the head of drive unit 0. And there we go. This is called ZooKeeper, and we have a ZooKeeper program. I hope you can see that. And loading works similarly. We use not the normal load command that you know from the C64, but we use deload, it's called. And we just say ZooKeeper. And again, we can put a comma and a D1 to indicate we want to load from drive unit 1. Internally it will map that to the file name 1:ZooKeeper, because the first number with the colon determines which unit 0 or the unit 1. We can list the program, and here it is. I will go quickly through it, and I'm gonna move us in a little bit closer and check that we can actually see something. I hope that is clear. All right. Yeah, that is the program. That should be quite visible. So, line number 5 is print and a heart symbol, which is the clear home key, which does basically a clear screen, like you would in DOS, for example, by typing CLS or something. Then we print a header, just ZooKeeper Raffle, a couple of empty lines, and then press any key to start. And then we initialize the array called a string with all the competitors here that sent in an email. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but I did look into my junk mail, and 4 people, Old McWeb, Savino, Rick, and Matt's ENG, sent in an email and said, yeah, well, I want to take part. That's why they are in this array here. And then there's this loop here, get kstring. If kstring equals empty string, go to 80, which is basically a press any key routine. Get kstring reads in one char from the keyboard, and if there wasn't anything, because it's non-blocking, if there wasn't anything, it just loops all the time. Then we have a running variable called I, which is the index into the array, and during every loop we will increment that I equals I plus 1, and if it's greater than 4, then we go back to 1, because our indices are 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if it goes to 5, it will loop back to number 1. Then it will print another special character, which is the home character, also from here, I think. I think that's the cursor up character, which moves the cursor one line back up. You can actually just type this by typing quotation mark and the cursor key on the keyboard, which you can't see at the moment, but that's alright. So it will go back and again do the print out the current contestant, so it will very quickly cycle through and do a little for loop to delay everything and then check for the key press, and if no key was pressed, we go to the next contestant. And once we have a key pressed, we also have our winner, and it will say congratulations, the name, you won, and it will wait for another key press. So that being said, very simple program. Let's go to the drawing of the prizes. Well, there's only one prize, so let's go. Yeah, clear screen worked. Press any key to start draw. I hope this works. I didn't test it on the real PET. I only tested it in the emulator, in the Vice emulator on XPAD. Let's start the drawing, and as you can see, it cycles through all the contestants very quickly without the little for loop to delay it a little bit. It was even quicker. It was crazy quick. So let's get a drum roll or something, and I will close my eyes, look away, and press the space bar now. And Rick has won. Congratulations, Rick. I will contact you via the email that you supplied, so everybody in the stream. Rick won, and he will get the additional ZooKeeper copy that I got for free. So I will hand it over to him, send a little package. I hope it will arrive before Christmas, so this is an early Christmas present basically. Great. And again, the PET is really an awesome device. Just using regular diskettes here, and I think there's something on the back side here of this thing. directory D1. Ah yeah, there are some things, yes. There is, for example, Petsky Robots is on here. We can load this because this was the original Petsky Robots that they... Oh, now I'm gonna bump the head. That's not good. It wasn't super clever. I should have written pet robots, comma D1. Let's see if it's possible to load this from drive unit 1. I'm not sure, because drive unit 0 will throw a couple of errors. But I can show this off, as this was the original Petsky Robots by David Murray. Yeah, seems to work. Awesome. And I've even got the thing here attached. Let me see, can I control the exposure? Maybe. Let me see if I can turn on the exposure. Where's my control? There is my control. No, I can't. Think I can't. Background? No, that's not good. Brightness? No. Contrast? No. I can't. Let's put all this back to original. It seems with the free version I can't, which is nasty. But okay, then so shall we. But we can just try something out and I'll show you how this works. It's now loading from disk drive 0. Exactly. So, oh no. Okay. I forgot. Didn't select the SNES keyboard, the SNES controller. Exit game, yes. Luckily, this works. Sadly, it's not defaulting to the SNES controller. So here's SNES pad, start game. One more time. And this game is actually good. I didn't like the Planet X3 game very much because it is saying that it's a real-time strategy game, but I think it's not a good one. I forgot the... yeah, now I got it. Shoulder button is searching. Now we found a weapon. We can fire now. And this is really very bright for you. But believe me... we found a key card. There's a robot we could shoot, but it will attack us if we do so. So we're not attacking it yet. There's an empty room, but there is some boxes here that we can search. We found a med kit, which is good. And we can move in here and find something, hopefully. We found another pistol. That means we've got more ammo. And there is... there's a bomb that we can put down. Yes, okay. So we can select the bomb by doing this, holding down select and then pressing a key. And then we can drop the bomb and run away, and the robot is done. Does the monitor have a brightness control you could turn down? In theory, yes, but I think that will not be very cool. The problem is I'm using Camo Studio, it's called, and I'm using the free version. And many of the... I think I got it. Exposure. Now I've got the exposure here. but doesn't really work. That's weird. Doesn't help. Interesting. I thought the exposure was the issue. I found the key for the exposure, but that's not really doing what I'm wanting to see. That's not truly exposure. That just makes the whole thing brighter. That's the white balance. Doesn't help either. The thing is, usually I would just tap the screen and it will work, but that doesn't work in this particular case. It's a bit weird. I'm not sure how the auto exposure works. And I think the brightness knob, well, yeah, could work. Something like this. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, now it's very not bright on in real life, but I think now it's good on this thing here. That's better. Now you can see a little bit of the objects. And I find this amazing. This machine, the PET itself is from 1979. So 45 years old. But it was introduced in 1977. Slightly different model with less RAM, but basically the same architecture. So this is almost 50-year-old technology. And this is actually a pretty decent game. And this is a nasty robot. This needs to be lured away. Oh, and this one is also a nasty robot, which is shooting me. And there's another nasty robot shooting me. I don't like it. Not one bit. I did manage to beat this level and a couple of other levels. It takes like 20 to 40 minutes, depending on if you know the level or not. And you're basically always searching for resources, weapons and medkits. Like here's a medkit and we can use it, and our health bar is now back up to full health. Basically, I think the beds don't contain anything here, but you have to search. Once you, oh, there was a pistol. Okay, good. So this is a not very terrible robot. This robot here, however, is also not terrible. This doesn't attack you. This is one of the stupid robots. But we could switch to the time bomb and try to time it like so. And I think we got it, yes. The timing here is essential. And there's another robot here where I hope, yeah, we got it. We got the robot, and you need to find the key cards. Currently there are 3 different keys here. We have already 2 keys. And yeah, that should do the trick here. Okay, this is another robot down. On the other versions of the game, there's even a map, which is quite handy. But I think the PET doesn't have enough memory for the map. But yeah, it's a pretty nice game. It does have good graphics, or pretty good graphics, on the 16-bit systems that it got ported to, like the SNES and the 7800. Well, that's still an 8-bit system. I think the Mega Drive and Amiga, they all got pretty decent graphics. But the idea was to have a game for this, a good game for this very, very old machine with only text-based graphics, basically. And I think that went pretty well. The AI is nothing to speak of, obviously, but it is good enough. The roller bots that we already saw are nasty, so we need to time this correctly. Oh, this was too early. Yeah, now we got it. So that is quite a few robots down already. And at the end you will need to go to a transporter. Okay, that was a very bad timing. You need to go to a transporter which only works if you... Ah yeah, we got it. If you killed all the robots, otherwise it will not be activated. And then you can leave the level and you will get your score, basically how much time did you take. And the faster you are, the better, obviously. Okay, this one goes all the way to the right, and then the stupid rollerbot comes. Okay, let's do it like so. We were too slow. And I think maybe not. And we haven't got any time bombs anymore. Oh, dear Lord. That's not good. Okay, I just shot the thing. I don't give a damn. Okay. We need more time bombs, obviously. Maybe here in this box up here. Maybe we got something here. Searching was left shoulder button. We found a magnet. With magnets you can confuse robots, obviously. But there's more to explore here. So maybe we will find something else. This is only forest, basically. Forest and water. And the PET doesn't allow you to really find the character set, which the C64 does. And I think even the VIC-20 allows for that, but the C64 definitely. So that's definitely an issue. We found another time bomb, 12 to be exact. The time bombs are pretty good, because if you get the timing right, you can basically kill the robots using that. But for some robots it takes a couple of time bombs. So that is an issue. I think there might be a plasma rifle here as well, which is like very powerful. And you can shoot yourself as well with the plasma rifle, because it will work like a time bomb, sort of. So here's this nasty bot. I forgot its name. Yeah. But we can put the time bomb here. And yeah, there we go. And search all the containers here, and maybe we find a plasma rifle. Found nothing. The AC here I think can also be searched. And there might be something in here. Also, you notice that the robot debris went away after a couple of seconds or something. Okay, there's nothing to be found here, but I think there's a house somewhere, and there's a garden over here. And in the garden, I think there's another robot. Yeah. Let's check our timing here when it goes away, and then I'm gonna put this here. Oh, that was too quick. We need to wait a little bit. Oh, I killed myself. Alright, this is how you kill yourself. I already dropped the bomb, but I think that's good enough, right? So, the PET is not totally useless. It is a very interesting machine, but it's also one that needs constant attention and repairs. Especially if you use the original disk drives, as I'm doing here. I'm gonna pull this a little bit away so we can see the disk drive again. something like this. There's also interpreters for Infocom games, text adventures. You can play the smaller ones because we only have 32 kilobytes. I did a video where we use an SRAM chip in the place of a ROM to get an additional 8 kilobytes, and the author of this Infocom interpreter patched it so that this 8 kilobytes can be used. So you have another 8 kilobytes for a total of 40 kilobytes for the game, but it's still very much on the low side. You can play only very small, older games. And there's a lot of modern Infocom style games being made. So that's worth checking out. And there's a lot of other small stuff for the Commodore PET range of machines. And of course, there used to be a lot of commercial software as well. Text editors, word processors, programming environments, scientific stuff. Things like that. I do love the weird industrial style with the all metal cases, but it is like caring for like a historic car or something, except that you don't drive it around, but it's made from similar materials and it's similarly fragile, etc. Yeah, okay, so, but the drawing is done. Rick will receive his ZooKeeper copy. I think I'm gonna close for today. That's that's already 40 minutes of streaming. I hope you enjoyed it. The PET will make a return, obviously, at some point. There will be more stuff to do. I am still planning on repairing the drive unit 0 if I can, because I'm not quite sure what's wrong with them. And some of the drives also have wonky motors that probably need more lubrication and more calibration. That's also one thing that they constantly need. And the 1541s, for example, are so much more reliable, I think, because Commodore already figured a lot of things out by then. But that's it for today. Gonna close the stream here. Thanks for joining in, and see you in the next video or the next stream. Bye.